Hello, friends, new and old. I'm so happy that you're here. I will be participating in the Fourth Friday Open Challenge again this month, hosted by Lisa from Our Gray House and Sarah from Jujubee DIY. Their guest host this month is Emily from Farm Charm Chic. These are all beautiful ladies, beautiful creators. They are so inspiring to me, and I bet they will inspire you as well. So go check them out. And we are to make fall or Thanksgiving DIYs this month. So let's get to it. For the first DIY, I will be making a wreath using the pre-beaded wire wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. I ended up using the color plaster, truffle, and classic caramel for my beads. That way I would have multicolors here. I'll be using some leaves, some maple leaves, and some pine cones, and some ribbon. So the first thing that I did is I'm going to take this hoop here, and with my wire or my needle nosed pliers, I am going to bend one of these hoops here, or these loops at the end, and I'm just going to open that up and remove the beads and get to painting. And of course, once the paint was dry, I just added my beads back to my wreath, alternating the colors, and this is what it's looking like now. And then taking some of these maple leaves from this maple pick, I'm just going to cut the wire off right at the edge there, as much wire as I can get, because I'm going to hang these leaves upside down, just like so. I'm just going to take that stem and I'm just going to weave it through one of the loops on the ends where the wire meets to create a circle. And I'm just going to bend that wire in place using my needle nose pliers and just give it a twist. And then cutting down 2 stems of the pine cones, I'm just going to repeat that, poking them the end of those stems right through one of those wire loops, and I'm going to hang these stems upside down as well to create kind of a floral in the center of this wreath. And the maple leaves were not sitting as flat as I would like, so I'm going to take one of these jumbo craft sticks and I'm going to trim it down and snip off each corner, and I'm going to glue the leaves right to that, and that'll give it some weight so it won't move around on me. And I did add 1 or 2 more maple leaves to give that a fuller look, and I just glued those down on top, and I concealed the glue so we don't want no one seeing that hot glue. And so that's what that's looking like now. And all that's left is to add a cute little bow. And this is done. I love the way that this came out. I'm loving these earth tones. It's yelling fall to me. And so, yeah, so there I'm going to take 2 more leaves. Like I said, I'm just going to make it, fuller in the center of the beaded wreath. And here I'm going to take this beautiful, beautiful ribbon. I believe I got I got that from the Dollar General last year. And then I'm going to take some of this white burlap ribbon, and I'm going to make a double bow here with the white on top, and I'm just going to crisscross over, tie it with some jute in the center, and then I did cut off some of that lacy material in the back, or lacy ribbon I should say, and I just glued down the center of this ribbon, and then I just simply glued that onto the wreath. And that was it. I did make a little hanger. And yeah, I love this. I love the way that this came out, and I hope you do too. I use some dark brown twine to kind of tie in with these earth tones, just hanging a hanger just like that. And then I just glued that cute bow right on top of that. And this first DIY is done. Before moving on to DIY number 2, I would like to thank Lisa, Sarah, and Emily for hosting this month's challenge. Like I said before, this challenge is hosted by Lisa and Sarah on the fourth Friday of every month, and I will link their channels in my description box as well as the playlist. Please go check everyone out and show everyone some love and support, and be prepared to be inspired. Okay, for DIY number 2, I will be making another simple DIY using a pre-made sign and a DIY sign from the Dollar Tree. I will be using this thankful pumpkin. It has an acorn and a leaf on it, and I'm just going to paint that up. And then this sign I got last year. It says thankful and blessed, which I think is beautiful. But I'm just going to stack these one on top of the other. So the bottom sign that's already painted, I'm just going to remove that galvanized leaf, which was a bit of a booger to get off, but I finally got it. And I will be removing that raffia as well. Man, that leaf just did not want to come off. I had to get the big guns out. Finally got it. Oh my goodness. And here I'm just making sure everything's going to fit nicely. I want to fill the holes where the jute hanger was hanging off of this DIY sign. So I'm just using some Dollar Tree spackle, and I'm just going to fill those holes and scrape the excess off, and I'm ready to go. Sometimes I don't wait for the spackle to dry. Do you all do that? I get busy and I just really don't want to. So there, I just took a wet, damp cloth and I wiped away the excess as well off of those holes, because sometimes when I paint over that spackle, you can kind of see the area where there is some, residue. So I like to just wipe it off with some a wet towel of, even a baby wipe would do. Okay, so here I am just going to paint the bottom portion with the color plaster. I was starting to go around the wording there, and then I thought, okay, I'm just going to go over the whole thing with the color plaster, getting in all the nooks and crannies. And this is what it's looking like, all nice and dry. I got all the nooks and crannies and all the edges. And now I'm going to dry brush the pumpkin portion with the color Pumpkin by Waverly. If I got heavy-handed with the color pumpkin, I just went back over it with the color plaster. I do that a lot, and I like to go back over it with the base color anyway to soften up those heavy lines and just to blend it just a bit. I painted the leaf and the bottom portion of the acorn with the color Classic Caramel, and then I used Territorial Beige for the top of the acorn and the stem of my pumpkin. And now I'm going to take a furniture marker and I'm going to color the word thankful. I'm going to trace some veins into the leaf that you can see there. And I also painted some detail in the stem of the pumpkin. And now I'm going to just glue that sign right on top of the bottom sign, covering all the wording. And I just use hot glue for this. I made a sweet little bow using that same dark twine that I used in my last DIY for the hanger, and I just added it right there in the corner just to give it some cuteness. After trimming my little tails down, I did add a little bit of glue to one side of that bow just so it'll sit the way I wanted it to. And then I was going to try and add some detail to the stem. I wasn't able to, so I just let it be. And then I snipped off the pointy part of the sunflower on the back, so my sunflower will lay flat onto my sign, and it just was not sitting flat. So see there? So what I did is I just pulled the plastic pieces, there was 2 of them, off of the back of the sunflower. Then I snipped the remaining plastic off and then just glued that sunflower right to the side of my pumpkin stems, just like so. And here it is, all done, hanging on my wall. I think this came out so bright and beautiful. I hope you do too. Okay, for DIY number 3, I will be making a beaded rectangle sign. This is my favorite DIY that I made today. I'm going to take a rectangle wood plank from the Dollar Tree and some beads. Do you remember those garland that the Dollar Tree came out with? It was the shore or beachy theme. I took 2 strands and took them apart. I added some white paint to a baggie. I watered it down with some water and added the beads and just smushed it around. I also took some Dollar Tree spackle and I spackled 4 beads. 4, I'm showing you there, 4 beads on both sides of the bead to hide the hole, because that is where I'm going to place the beads on the corners of my sign. And I didn't want any holes to show. I hope I'm not confusing you. I'll show you here in a sec. So I noticed when I use the baggy method to paint beads, the texture is not smooth or as smooth as I would like it. So I take some parchment paper or any kind of paper, I pour the beads down onto that, and then I take a dry paintbrush and just kind of, smooth the texture of the beads down. And it also helps me to make sure the paint got in all those little holes and nooks and crannies. And now I'm going to take one of those cork sheets from the Dollar Tree. It does have adhesive. It's like a big giant sticker, and I'm just going to add that to the top of the unpainted sign or side of the rectangle wood plank. Now that all the excess cork is trimmed, I just used a X-Acto knife to trim up the excess of the cork, and now I'm ready to start gluing down my beads. So here I am looking for those spackled beads, the 4 that I did spackle, and I'm just going to put those to the side. That way I know those go on the corners of my sign, and that's what I'm doing here, just trying to get those separated from the rest of the beads. I placed a piece of parchment paper under my work surface because I knew that the glue was going to seep out and I didn't want it to glue to my table. So I did add some paper there, and then I just started gluing and making sure I had even amount of beads on all sides. And I did use wood glue for this. I just didn't feel like the hot glue would be enough to keep these in place. I just felt one little bang and the beads would fall off. And I did end up securing that, and I'll show you that in just a bit. But for now, I'm using the wood glue to glue all of these beads completely around the outside edge of this rectangle plank.
Lost again, going back around, dreaming of a time when I get things right. Lost in the shadows of a million stars. Shouldn't they enlighten my near and far? Shouldn't they at all just tell me where you are? Send a prayer.
And that's what it's looking like. And off camera, I took one of those smaller rectangle wood planks from the Dollar Tree that come in a pack of 5 or 8. And I painted that with the same white chalk paint by Waverly. And then with my Cricut, I cut out the word harvest using dark brown vinyl. And here I'm just inspecting my sign to make sure everything is glued nice. And I'm just going to glue that smaller rectangle plank right to the center of the larger piece, just like so. And then to secure those beads, I was so worried that they were going to fall off. I just ran some hot glue all along the edge there where the beads met the wood plank. And then, you know those beads from the Dollar Tree? They come in a multi-pack. I just took 2 packs of the yellow beads. These are much smaller squares than the beads that I use for the sign. See there, I'm showing you. I took 2 packs of the yellow, painted them with white chalk paint, and then I just started adding those to the string that came with the larger beads, that garland. I'm going to use that string, and just started beading the hanger for this sign. Flipping the sign over, and to ensure that my hanger is even, I'm going to make sure that I glue each end to the same amount of beads. So I counted 4 from the left, and I'm just going to add some glue right on top of that 4th bead on my sign, and then I glued that smaller beaded hanger right to the top of that bead, just like that, making sure that the string is behind my sign. And then I repeated that on the opposite side, gluing that other end to the 4th bead, making sure my string was behind my sign. And then taking some masking tape, I'm going to tape this string down to the back of my sign. I taped one piece down like so, And then I'm gonna take another piece, pull my string up just like that, put another piece of tape, then I repeated that back down just to make sure that those beads are not going anywhere. And here it is, all done. And like I said before, this is my favorite that I made today. If you have a favorite, let me know down in the description box. I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you so much, everyone, for visiting my channel today. I hope I have inspired you. Don't forget to go check out the playlist and the beautiful hosts that hosted this challenge and show everyone some love and support. I know that you will be amazed. I know that you will be inspired by these creators. Man, oh man, do I get inspired from them. And there's that wreath. Loving the colors on this wreath. I just love those earthy tones. And yeah, that's it for me today. And everyone have a beautiful, beautiful week. And I'll talk to you all hopefully in my next video. Bye for now.